Mulini, and welcome to the Conversations with Nkosi YouTube channel. As you know, mine is to inform, educate, and entertain. Nkosi, your host. Welcome to the channel. The DRC is bleeding and the media's silence is painfully numbing. Today's video will be exploring a social issue that affects children of the mother continent. I look forward to delving into this topic that has been vastly overlooked. Why is mainstream media mum about what's happening in the DRC? Why is the power of the media not being utilized to spread word on what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo? When corporations like Apple are working on a new device, the media communicates this and even interviews experts and the likes just to shove the news down our throats. However, the energy shifts when it comes to addressing the issues faced by developing countries that suffer due to the mining of raw materials found in the same devices that these companies are quick to promote. The abundance of natural resources such as coltan, cobalt, tin, and tantalum makes the DRC a significant player in the global economy. In fact, it has been reported that the DRC is the biggest supplier of cobalt on a global scale. Many multinational companies benefit from these resources. That time, the country is among the poorest in the world, and the scramble for the raw materials found in the DRC indirectly fuels the ongoing conflict. The DRC is located in Central Africa, and it is currently swimming in poisoned waters of a deadly conflict, resulting in one of the largest genocides recorded in recent history. The conflict, which began in 1996, has claimed the lives of more than 6 million Congolese people and has left millions displaced. With this astounding loss of life, one would expect a significant global response and media attention, as we have seen in similar cases. Yet the genocide occurring in the DRC has been met with neglect. Let us look into possible reasons for why society's response to this genocide has been poor and how it reflects on our global community. The intricacy of the conflict in the DRC is one of the contributing factors to the lack of attention that it receives. The presence of armed groups, the military, and foreign interventions, among other factors, makes it a complex issue to comprehend and report on. Because again, a lot of things are happening, a lot is going on at that time. I think there were also reports about people being uncomfortable with these intervention groups, the foreign interventions, because again, those people come and bully them again. And there's also that sense of distrust. And I don't blame them. I mean, if you don't trust your own military, how are you going to trust the people from outside? How? I mean, there's an issue of food shortage. There's that issue of people being displaced. There's an increase with sexual assault. Sorry, pregnant women not being. Yeah, guys, a lot is going on. A lot is happening, and it's very. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's just a lot to comprehend and report on. And it leaves many individuals in a challenging position again because they then cannot tackle this multifaceted issue, which obviously then results in people having to turn a blind eye. But it's not deliberate. It's like, okay, but what do I report on? I mean, this is cobalt mining, then there's the illegal cobalt mining, whereas now children are forced to go and mine. But the thing is, no one is talking about the possibility of the owners of those mines being the ones that are actually at the forefront of ensuring Uguti, these children are then the ones that go and mine because they can fit into places and spaces where adults can't. And they claim to have a problem with the illegal mining, right? But they don't then come and talk about the people that their security kills. You know that when they find people illegally mining, the security is then instructed to discipline those people. There was this video of people that were found illegally mining being beaten up, and the bosses of that said mine were actually laughing, folding their arms. And these people probably went there and claimed to want to boost the economy of the DRC, but that wasn't the case. Theirs was to boost their own economy and fill up their pockets at the expense of our people, enslaving these children, also funding these rebel groups. Because again, who benefits from all of this? And how is it that a country that is abundantly blessed with these natural resources and minerals is among the poorest of the poor? If they supply, if they're like the biggest supplier of cobalt, it doesn't make sense as for them to be going through what they're going through right now. You have women that are mining so that they can put something um, in the mouths of their children in the evening. You have women that also come to mind because, again, it's no longer safe where they stay. I need to say people are displaced, right? There's a whole lot going on. There's the rebel groups. There's obviously I think there's the United Nations peacemakers. Then there's also intervention military groups from neighboring countries. But the thing is, the people of the DRC are not comfortable with this. And for me, that is eyebrow raising because, again, why aren't they comfortable? What's actually happening? You know? That's what I'm saying. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And so I think I understand. But then again, I just hope people find a way as to report on this. Let's not turn a blind eye. Let us have this conversation. Let's talk about it. I mean, we big ups to the reporters and the journalists that actually took their time to go to the DRC and document what's happening because again, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have known how deep this was. I wouldn't if it weren't for those documentaries and also the people that have been tweeting about it also on Twitter. Bancedile. The same attention and the energy that we are giving other countries that are going through um crisis should be the same energy that the DRC also receives. Literally. As for example, this side, I know Matthew Lani is, yeah, his issue was, but to have everyone reporting on the Matthew Lani saga and just the SABC talk about what's happening in the DRC, my loves, where are we? How did we get here? So I understand that it's like, it's a lot, it's a multifaceted issue that is difficult to tackle. And so that's probably why people end up turning a blind eye. I get it. But I feel like we could do something about it beyond just being in shock and not knowing what to report on first. Break it down and talk about it. Furthermore, the Democratic Republic of Congo's vast reserves of natural resources, which include cobalt, coltan, tin, and tantalum, have positioned the country as a key player in the global economy, which is shocking because, again, the people of the DRC are far from being developed, nor are their basic needs met. The exploitation of these resources, often by multinational corporations, has indirectly fueled the ongoing conflict in the region, which has created a conflict of interest among the beneficiaries of the dealings, resulting in a lack of intervention to address the ongoing genocide and other related issues in the DRC. I think I tweeted, where does Tesla get their cobalt from? Because I think I came across him on an interview, and, big ups to him also for calling out what is happening in Palestine. But if you're going to call out people for doing something that is wrong, you might as well also address this issue, because Tesla gets their cobalt from the DRC. Now, what do you have to say about that, Mr. Man? You can't be out here calling other people out, but you keep quiet about what you know you're doing in the DRC and your company. And it's not just Tesla, guys. I think it's VW, and it's the VW, and why am I forgetting this company? Apple and Delibel. I don't know why I'm forgetting this other one. You know, these are people that get their cobalt from the DRC. And also, did you also know that the raw materials are brought here, and then from here they're shipped? They're then shipped to China, which it's interesting because, again, why is the African Union quiet? And also, what is our government doing about it? Huh? I mean, obviously they're no longer going to be we're going to definitely come back and talk about the Phala Phala saga, but you can't tell me that we're still there. You're still trying to sell us this story about the Phala Phala saga, but you guys don't want to talk about us probably also forming part of the problem, because, again, the raw materials are brought to us, and then from Durban or Cape Town, I don't know which harbor, it is then shipped to China. Anna, guys, it's scary, man. It's scary. Our developing countries should have long been developed, but we're still developing. And it's scary. It really is. And I mean, why would people want to talk or speak out if they're getting these raw materials at a cheaper price and they're benefiting? They won't speak up. Or will they? I doubt they will. And so it would make sense for that, their silence as well, to be contributing, because they're benefiting from the displacement of the people of the DRC. They're benefiting from all of this, and the DRC isn't. It's just that that's smaller and a few that sold out their people that are also benefiting from this. Because, again, sellouts. You'll find a sellout everywhere. And it's scary, because then that person is comfortable with selling these mines and then them becoming rich and their families, and then they don't care about what they're doing to the communities where these mines are situated or located. There's a situation where hospitals, there's like a shortage of hospitals now. Like, in Innsbruck, guys, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. That's why I said earlier on, Hore, you know what? I understand, Hore, tackling the multifaceted issue results in people having to turn a blind eye. But then again, I'm also asking that you don't turn a blind eye. Pick something from all of the problems that these people are going through and start talking about it. When you're done, move on to the next. That's okay. You can literally break it down and do that. I do not want to lie. I struggled with putting together this video that I'm like making now, because there was just a lot to report on when it comes to Congo. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the DRC. And it's not just the DRC, guys. It is Sudan. It is the people of Tigray. Yo, it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's saddening, man. It's also heartbreaking. Because it's not just the people of Palestine. It's the people of the DRC. It's the people of Tigray. Um, it's the people of Mali, you know? And yet the silence is loud when it comes to us, children of the mother continent, and the things we're going through. And I'd also like to point, you know what? Wait, let me just continue before I go off topic again. Let's get into the third one and then we continue. Hopefully, I can run peacefully. Another crucial factor to consider, which is also my main focus, would be the lack of media coverage. And when I talk about media coverage, we're referring to mainstream media. It is scary to witness the silence of our own African leaders when it comes to addressing this issue. Claiming that they had no information about this would be a lie, seeing that a number of reporters have published articles and documentaries about the humanitarian crisis faced by the people of the DRC, also exposing those who benefit from the conflict. Baffles me how mainstream media often prioritizes current events in certain regions while overlooking others. And the selective coverage reinforces bias, pushing an invalid narrative, condoning the evils the DRC and her children are subjected to by not shining a light on the DRC's genocide. Society remains unaware and thus less inclined to take action. The media is a conduit of enchantment that holds within its grasp the power to ignite the flame of awareness and kindle the fire of change. It beckons upon us to raise our voices against the shadows that loom over our heads and to unite in the face of adversity. Yet, the dark veil of silence that shrouds the ongoing genocide in the Democratic Republic of Congo is a specter that haunts our collective conscience. The media's silence, followed by societal indifference and political apathy, muffles the echoes of the cries of the affected, hindering the efficacy of our responses and the potency of our actions. The limited commitment and inadequate resources provided by global powers to prevent and respond effectively to the current crisis is loud. The silence from our own African leaders is deafening, seeing that they are selective with where they use their voice, authority, and power. They only make noise where noise is already being made. They only make noise if they're going to be given platform and there's a spotlight so that they can trend. And that is tiring. It is exhausting. It is exhausting. The African Union has always been useless in my eyes. I think ever since after the Mamkosa Dlamini Zuma period, it just, yeah, I don't know what happened to it. It became a mini United Nations type of shanties. It stopped being, I mean, there's this one time where they even had like a conference for the African Union, a conference for African countries in New York, and I was shocked. Hey, I was shocked. I was like, how are we? What? Like, could we not go to Ghana or Nigeria or, go visit one of the countries at least? No? Okay. Okay. New York. New York, guys. New York. And yet you call yourselves the African Union. Anywho, they've always been useless in my eyes and failing to tackle pressing issues faced by African countries. And I never thought I'd say this, but I'm saying it now, is unfortunately becoming their signature. It is becoming their signature. I do not remember the African Union commenting on the protests that the students in Nigeria and the young people that were in Nigeria, when they were fighting for unemployment and things like that. The African Union was quiet. Um, they were quiet when it came to what happened in Phoenix. I don't remember them commenting on the Marikana massacre. So I think it would be weird for me to expect a response from Cyril, the president, sorry, of the Republic of South Africa, when Marikana happened, when the killings in Phoenix happened. Um, and that was because someone came out and he encouraged vigilantism. And then he didn't call out people that were taking the lives of other people. Imagine being encouraged, guys, by the president of your country to roam around the streets with a gun. Hey, in a province that has been consumed by gun violence. Talk about a mess. Talk about a mess. So I just hope that I at least gave you like small intel on what is happening in the DRC. Please go and check out like you can actually look it up on YouTube. You can even search. When I just punch in DRC cobalt mining or DRC genocide or DRC humanitarian crisis, and you're going to come across documentaries. I think Al Jazeera also has articles here and there. Yes, people are trying to help, but the intervention is not coming the way that it should, in the way that it should. Rather, it's as if people are trying to tackle the mess without it getting out. And I think the people of the DRC have reached a point where they're just tired, and that is why they're also not comfortable with having peacekeepers from the United Nations. Because again, nizosiza ngani? What are you guys going to help us with? If our own soldiers can't help and the ones that we have from the neighboring countries are also now a problem, why would you think that would? And it's weird how they also had, there's reports of them having anti-protests with regards to these peacemakers, and people are getting hurt for that. Why can't they demonstrate how they feel? Because it's not as if they're throwing stones at these soldiers or these peace ntontonis. And every time I hear of a United Nations peacekeeper, I get angry because I am reminded of the Rwandan genocide. And it's just scary how the Chinese are. You know that book, the Scramble for Africa? I think I'm gonna have to read it again because I want to understand. Now I want to understand. I'm going to read that book thoroughly. I'm gonna come back and give you a review again. Probably also going to encourage you to go and read it so that we understand why. Why? And I think that idea of the Chinese being better than the Belgians, than the French, than the Portuguese, that's also just a lie on its own. Okay, we're probably making ourselves feel better because of that whole communist type of thing going on. But no, it just doesn't make sense to me for us to have to go through all of this, all in the name of trying to develop ourselves and have to rely on a foreign person to come and buy our own mine inside our own country. And so this is why I'm just there, like our African leaders are part of the problem because they're also bagging a few pounds there and they honestly do not care. And they're probably gonna only start making noise once this gains traction. I mean, how long did it take for them to hop onto the Free Palestine thing? It took a while. It took a while. Yes, there were those countries that have always had a stance on it, like us, for example, but that's because it has also always been the view of the African National Congresses in South Africa, which also happens to be the ruling party. And so we've always stood in solidarity with the people of Palestine because, again, there is a apartheid 0.20 that's happening that side. But it took time for other countries to call it out, and it has been an ongoing thing. The same thing is happening there in Ethiopia with the people of the Tigray region. And here we are. The same thing is happening here. If you're telling me that the people from the DRC have been experiencing this since 1996, it's just it wasn't as bad as it is now, and yet there's still silence, then my friends, my lovely friends, we have a problem. We definitely have a problem. That marks the end of today's video. Thank you so much for lending your eyes and ears. I hope that you found today's video informative. Please do not forget to click on that subscription button or light the notification bell so that you do not miss out on any new uploads. Nkosi.